Awesome. And we're just going to jump in and get started. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, we have our Summer Camp 2022 Parent Information Meeting. We have a lot to share with you all about all of our camp programs that are happening this summer. So my name is Olive. If you've had a girl attend any of our summer camp programs before, though, they might know me by my camp name, which is Noodle, and I'm the outdoor program manager for Girl Scouts. So I oversee all three of our summer camp programs, and then all of our outdoor programs that are ran on a council-wide level. So our Teton Science School trip, our spring break programs, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, so all the fun things that are ran year-round as well. And I'll have Taylor introduce herself.
I'm Taylor, and I know, Andrea, you said that your daughter had been to CAP, but if any of you have sent your kids to CAP this summer, I started out as the assistant camp director, and then I got the wonderful offer in October to move into a full-time position. So I'm the new assistant outdoor program manager, and I'm assisting Olive in creating all of the really great programming that we're going to have this summer, and all of the fun stuff that we're offering throughout the year. So for 2022, we have a lot of really exciting stuff happening at camp. There are 10 weeks of camp at Echo, so we're running our program June 6th through August 12th. And Camp Echo is our day camp in Boise. It's really close to downtown. And our main audience for that is kindergarten through 5th grade, so our younger audience. And then we're also running 8 weeks of camp up at Camp Pittenger this summer. So we've added 2 weeks on, which we're super stoked about. So that season is running June 19th through August 11th. And that is our overnight camp up in McCall, Idaho on Payette Lake, super gorgeous property. And our main audience for that one is 2nd through 12th grade. And then we are so stoked to announce that we're doing 5 weeks of camp at Tam. So this past year, we did our 6 weeks of resident camp at Camp Pittenger, and then we packed up our vans and we went down to Eastern Idaho and ran a couple of weeks of troop camp and family camp at Tam. And this year we are running our overnight camp at Tam. So we have 5 weeks of that, and that season is running July 10th through August 13th. And our main audience for that one is 4th through 12th grade, because that is a little bit more of a high adventure camp. And it's pretty rustic, so the younger ages tend to struggle a little bit more with the being so far away from home and not having the ability to like call a parent home if they needed to.
Awesome. So a little bit more about this presentation tonight is we are going to go into each of these camps. So we're going to talk about Camp Echo, Camp Pittenger, and Camp Tam. As we're talking about these camps, if you have questions about the camps or anything that's really specific to that camp, feel free to put the question in the chat. This is also a really small group, so you can just unmute yourself and ask the question. And then because we have a lot of information to go through, we don't want you to, at the beginning, have a question about Camp Echo and then wait 45 minutes and then be like, I completely forgot my question. So feel free to unmute yourself or put it in the chat, and we will make sure we get to those questions, because the goal of this evening is for you to learn as much as possible. And there might be things that we haven't thought of that are really good questions for you that we can cover. So feel free to ask questions as we go as well. So next I want to talk about Camp Echo. So Camp Echo is our day camp. It's in downtown Boise, right in Fort Boise Park. It's located at Friendship Square, if you're familiar or have done any Girl Scout activities at Friendship Square. So this summer we are running 10 weeks of programming. Each week has a different theme of programming. So animal lovers, adventure seekers, color Olympics, Wild Water Week is back this summer, which is always a big hit. Each session includes weekly field trips. So no matter what the girls are signed up, what session the girls are signed up for, they'll participate in a field trip. We do hiking in the foothills trails, arts and crafts, water play, which is a lot of sprinklers and slip and slides and baby pools, and is a blast. I have a lot of Girl Scout traditions and themed activities based on the week. So if your girl comes multiple times during the summer, but she goes to Animal Lovers Week and then goes to Wild Water Week, some of the activities will be the same, but then a lot of the activities will be based around that theme. If you have a older girl who is interested in helping at Camp Echo, we have a teen leader program available for high school girls to help with our younger campers at Camp Echo, and they can receive volunteer hours or hours towards their service and Girl Scouting award. And then Camp Echo, just like all of our camps, is staffed by a camp director and then camp counselors who are trained to work specifically with that age group, to work specifically at that camp, who are paid staff, so they are not volunteers, and they are trained to work specifically at that camp and run those activities. They tend to be really great role models for our girls in the 18 to 22-year-old college age range. So they're very, very fun. Our girls love their camp counselors. So Camp Echo runs Monday through Friday. We run activities daily from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then if aftercare is something that fits your family, aftercare is available every week for about $50 a week. And the girls, when you look at your camp brochure, you're like, that's a big age range, kindergarten through 5th grade for that camp. The girls are broken into groups by their Girl Scout level. So there'll be a Daisy group and a Brownie group and a Junior group, or maybe 2 Brownie groups and a Daisy group and a Junior group. So the girls are broken into activity groups based on their age level, and then they are earning Girl Scout badges based on their age level too. Another really cool thing is that you see right next to Camp Echo, we have the American Camp Association symbol. So Camp Echo is American Camp Association accredited, which means we reached over 200 standards on health and safety, aligned with all the other camps in the country to make sure that this camp is safe and great for our girls and meeting the highest camp standards. So a little bit more about Camp Echo. So this is the Google map. Camp Echo is located at Friendship Square. So you can see that's right next to Fort Boise Park, really close to downtown St. Luke's. And then we have some really great pictures of all the fun things that we do with our girls at Camp Echo. So we had a llama out there 2 summers ago. We hope to bring the llama back this summer for Animal Lovers Week. It was a pretty sassy llama. We do arts and crafts and field trips, water play. You can see them getting our camp director from last summer with the water play. So before we move to our next camp, what questions do people have about Camp Echo?
Well, if there is one question in the chat, it's related to Camp Alice Pittenger, but still there is a question there. I don't know if you can bring it up or if you'd like me to read it to you.
Can you read it to me?
Yeah, absolutely. So question came in that there's they've been a Girl Scout for a few years, but it's going to be their first year at camp, and they're really looking forward to it. There's a couple girls in her troop that are also going to that same camp. And she was curious to know how to make sure they're able to bunk together.
Oh, that's a great question. So for all of our camps, day camp and for overnight camp, if you want your girls to be in the same group together, there is when you're signing up, there's a spot where they request a buddy, and that is where you can put in the girls' names. So you can request up to 3 buddies on your request form. So if you have more than 3 friends coming, you might need to do some strategic, like talking to the other parents to see who's requesting who. So it's a big circle math for me to be like, this one is connected to this one, that's connected to this one, that's connected to this one, that's connected to this one. But if they request each other, we will put them in the same group together. And then when they get to camp, they can talk to their camp counselors about being in the same cabin together.
And Olive, just for clarification as well, the buddy request would need to be in that same program age level, correct, for them to be able to bunk together?
Correct. So for Camp Alice Pittenger, we have some programs that are a very wide age range. One that I'm thinking off the top of my head is Midnight Madness, which is 4th through 10th grade. And we're going to try to keep all the juniors together, all the cadets together, and all the seniors together. So because they're going to have more fun, the 4th graders are going to have way more fun with other 4th graders than they are going to have fun with 8th graders. Gross. So they do need to be in the same level. If for some reason there's a special circumstance, that's something that we could talk about as a a 5th grader whose cousin is a 6th grader, some of those special circumstances for overnight camp, we can talk about that individually, but overall they need to be in the same age level. Awesome. That was a great question. I'm going to move over to Camp Alice Pittenger, but as questions are coming up in people's heads, feel free to continue to put them in the chat.
So Camp Alice Pittenger, which is our resident camp up in McCall, has a lot of really exciting programs that are coming up. We have Cadet Challenge, which we're bringing back. We have Saddle Up, which is new this year, where girls will be able to go on a field trip to Yahoo Corrals and go horseback riding. We have Wacky Waters, where they're doing everything under the sun when it comes to water stuff. We also have Midnight Madness, and I'm so stoked about this program this year because instead of running it simultaneously with another program at camp, every single unit at camp is going to be Midnight Madness. So everybody's going to be staying up late and it's going to be great. So this is our water-based camp. So there's a lot of swimming, we have stand-up paddle boards, we have kayaking, we have our water obstacle course, and we have canoeing. One thing to note on the water obstacle course is that girls do need to, so everybody comes to camp and their first swim, they do a swim check to kind of assess their skill level. And they need to be able to swim, is it 1 lap there? And I think it's 25 yards in order to use the water obstacle course. And that's just a safety thing so that we don't have girls who go off the slide and can't get back to the ladder that they need to get out, and because they can't touch once they go off the slide. We also have other camp activities, which include archery and hiking. Some of our camps have field trips, so like Saddle Up, Cadet Challenge, they go to the island. Our high adventure program is going on a whitewater rafting trip offsite. It's going to be super awesome. We have our cookouts, and we also have STEM. We also are bringing back our 2-week-long counselor and training program for our high school girls. So they have to be entering 10th through 12th grade in order to participate in that program. And then these are 5-day-long sessions. So they come in on Sunday afternoon, and then you'll come pick them up on Thursday morning. And girls will be living in what we call units, which is a group of cabins that are all in the same campsite area. And girls will participate in activities at camp with their whole unit. So the girls will be sleeping in cabins that sleep 6 to 8 girls, in some really nice bunk beds that girls absolutely adore. Somehow everybody always fights over the top bunk. But counselors will sleep in a cabin that is really close by to the girls' cabins, but they're not in the same cabin as the girls. And the way that I like to think of this is that in your house, your kids are typically in their own rooms, and when they get up and go use the bathroom and turn a light on, and then you also know if they're running amok and causing absolute chaos and somehow there's flour all over the house. I hope that's not the case, but that's how I imagine unattended children sometimes. So counselors are going to know, when girls are getting up and going to the restroom in the middle of the night, and they're also going to know if they're deciding to run off in the forest and play flashlight tag at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's not like it's a cabin that's, completely across camp and the counselors are just letting the girls do their own thing in the middle of the forest. They are there supervising them. So here is a map of Camp Alice Pittenger to kind of give you an idea of what camp looks like. We have a gorgeous picture of our water obstacle course. I can't tell if that's a sunrise or a sunset. It looks like a sunrise, but it's so much fun. And we also have a picture of our lovely camp staff leading some girls through our low ropes course. Do we have any questions on Camp Alice Pittenger?
I don't know if I have any questions specifically about Alice Pittenger, but my questions are more are general. Being this my daughter's first year at camp, and I want to make sure we can get her signed up. And like I mentioned earlier, that if she could bunk with their other girls from her troop. But as far as signing up, I'm guessing February 1st. I'm looking. I didn't get the big pamphlet in the mail that said all the camps. So I've been looking online at the camps, but I'm guessing February 1st, probably in the morning. That spot on the website is going to look a little different. Like there'll be a registration button, I'm guessing, or something.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, so on February 1st at 8 a.m., the camp that you want is going to have a button that says register now. And you'll be able to click on that. Or if you're on our events calendar, right now it has all the camps listed and you can click on them, and then there's nowhere to click to register. On February 1st at 8 a.m., there will also be a register now button on those as well. So it'll take you to the exact same place. So if you're on the website, looking at the description where it says register now, or on the event calendar, it will take you to the exact same place.
Oh, okay. That'll be simple. So,
and then I can send you one of these. So after this meeting, or if you want to do a private chat, if you give me your address, I can put one of these in the mail for you tonight. And it can be at your house in 2 days.
Oh, really? That'd be cool. I'm assuming I had one sent to me because I'm a troop leader, but for some reason I don't know. Maybe it got delivered to the neighbor or something. Who knows? The other troop leader, she got hers, and the other parents got theirs. We just didn't get one at our house. And that pamphlet.
I can solve that.
And that pamphlet's a lot easier to navigate than the website. Once you pull it out, it's like, oh man, this all makes sense.
Once we get your address as well, we can check your membership account and just make sure we have the correct address on file for you as well. Because maybe that was, if we didn't have the correct address on file, it might have got sent to the wrong address. So we'll check that for you too.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And when it comes to camp, being that say we drop a daughter off, and there's one of her girls and one of her troop members' parents have a cabin up in McCall. If she has a problem or anything, is it all right that, or I'm sure it's all right with us as parents, but you guys at the camp will allow her friends' parents to help her out or pick her up, or how do we go about that?
Yeah, so first as you would, when you are filling out your camp paperwork, make sure you're listing that parent and their phone number as an emergency contact. And of course, if there was an issue at camp, maybe your daughter is feeling homesick or something was to happen, we're gonna contact her parents first. And we're gonna say like, this is what is happening. This is what we think the next step should be, but you're the parent. What do you know your daughter much better? What do you think the next step should be? And then you might say like, hey, can you call so and so's parents? And I'm going to call so and so's parents. Can you also call so and so's parents? And we can come up with a plan together, and maybe they can drop off the blanket that we really need that's keeping us from being successful at camp, or they can come in and talk to them. Or but we're going to contact the parents first, and then but if you have that phone number listed as the emergency contact, then I don't have to ask you what the phone number is. You go, oh, just call Abby's mom, and I'll go, okay, great, I'll call Abby's mom next.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Like that, we won't put grandma's for emergency contact like we always do. We'll put her buddy's mom that's going to be up there.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. And that's all the questions I have.
Awesome. Perfect. Before I move on to Camp Tam, what other questions do people have? Okay, I'll move on to Camp Tam, and I'm sure we'll come up with more because camp is large and complex and a lot of things going on. And fun and full of adventures and a great time for us and our girls. So Camp Tam. Camp Tam is our camp in Eastern Idaho. It's our high adventure camp. It's located in Swan Valley. So Camp Tam has a very interesting history. It ran for about 50 years in Eastern Idaho. And it's full of history. When you walk into that camp, you can tell that camp is full of history and love. And I was opening up cabinets this summer and pulling out like cookbooks from like the 1950s with like circled recipes in them. Like, oh yeah, make this for the girls. And then it closed for a little bit. And then we opened it back up in 2017 for some limited programming. And this summer, we are so excited to open it up for 5 weeks of resident camp. So like the rest of our camps, Camp Tam has weekly themes and all new high adventure programming. So hiking, backpacking, nature, field trips. I am so excited. We are going rafting, zip lining, horseback riding. We have slingshots and archery. We are creating a whole new backpacking progression program. So girls as young, we have a Brownie hiker program, Brownie junior hiker program to get girls first used to hiking, a junior introduction to backpacking program. And we even have a high school backpacking program that's going to be 2 nights, 3 days of backpacking. This camp is a little bit longer, so it's 6-day long sessions, Sunday through Friday. It's just a little bit farther away for all of our families to get to. And if you've been with our council for a long time, this used to be referred to as our horse camp. And we are hoping next summer, summer 2023, to have horses back on property. But this time we're just going to be doing horseback riding field trips. But if you hear like, oh, the one that's the horse camp, and that used to be Camp Tam. And like Camp Pittenger, girls stay in those unit areas. But at Camp Tam, we have cabins, the exact same ones as Camp Pittenger, and then also platform tents, which is a wooden floor with a canvas wall tent. They're really cool. When I was in Girl Scouts as a little girl, my camp was all platform tents. So I have very fond memories of platform tents. So here is our map of Camp Tam. As you can see, everything's a little bit more spread apart. I think of Camp Tam as like a rustic mountain hideaway. And we have 2 main units. So we have Happy Hollow, and then we have Whispering Leaves as our 2 main units that the girls sleep in. And then 3 Pines is where if your girls do a camp out in tents, they would be sleeping in the 3 Pines area. And then we have some pictures of horseback riding and rafting, which are 2 things we're super excited to do this summer at Camp Tam. what questions do people have about TAM? So our next part of this presentation is we are going to get into some less of camp specific, more general Girl Scouts of Silver Sage information about camp. So I'll have Gizmo kick it off with some camp traditions.
So each of our camps have camp fairies. At Camp Pittenger, we have Fairy Fifinella. And at Camp Tam, we have Fairy Tam. She lives in the crater. It's really cool. And then at Camp Echo, we have Fairy Cece and her brothers who pull mischievous things like flooding the parking lot when it rains too much. I think they're just like, yep, we're gonna dig a hole and make a flood. Her brothers Kevin and Kyle. And the girls absolutely, especially the younger ones, really enjoy the magic of writing the fairies. And then if the fairies aren't super busy, then they will get letters back. And then at Camp Tam in the morning and in the evening, we have our flag ceremony. So in the morning, girls get to take part in raising the flag. And then in the evening, they get to take part in lowering the flag and singing taps. We also have what are called capers, which are chores to make sure that our camps stay clean and safe for everybody to use. And we call those capers to make them a little bit more fun. And then we have opening and closing ceremonies at each of our camps. So every day, because the girls come to camp in the morning and then they leave in the afternoon, we have opening and closing circles at Camp Echo. And then on Friday afternoons, girls get to perform their skits for everybody that they've been working on throughout the week to kind of close out that week. And then at Camp Tam, we have our opening and closing campfires. So on that Sunday evening, all of camp will come together and we sing a lot of fun camp songs. The staff will do some skits for everybody. And then the girls will separate into their units and go have s'mores in their units and have another campfire, provided that, you know, weather is on our side and we're not under a fire ban. There we go. And then at the end of the week, girls will come together on either that Thursday night or that Wednesday night, depending on which camp they're at. And throughout the week, they're creating their own skits. And so they get to perform their skits for everybody at camp. And we sing a lot of those same songs that we sang at the beginning of the week, or new ones. And then at CAP, we brought back a tradition called wish boats, where girls actually get to work with their cabins and take things from nature and make a really cute boat out of them. And then we have them put a candle on the boat, and we all quietly walk to our boat dock and circle around it. And then we light each candle one by one, and the girls all together shout out their wish. And then we put them in the water and all sing Make New Friends. And it's really, really adorable. And I cry every single time. And then we also have our theme dinners at Camp Tam. So your girl might come back and say, so on Wednesday night, we did a shipwreck dinner where they made us eat with spatulas and tongs, and I got a giant serving bowl instead of a normal plate for my bowl or for my plate. And also Gizmo had an eye patch on, and she only had one arm, and then she had the other one had a knife sharpener with a fork stuck on it, and she was eating and doing a jig the entire night and having a lot of weird fun, but it was great. So if you're wondering, wow, that sounds really, really weird, it was a theme dinner, and we do those to kind of just have a lot of fun. They're a great time.
We have a picture of me at a theme dinner eating spaghetti with tongs, but the spaghetti was really long, so I had to lean all the way back, and then I didn't have a chair or something. It was great. We did not choose to put that one in the camp brochure this year, but it was up there in choices. So we have some example schedules of some summer camp. So I'll run through both of our schedules really quickly. Our schedules change, of course, based on the week, based on the theme, based on the weather. Even the best camp directors can't control the weather sometimes, unfortunately. So Camp Echo, we have drop off between 8:30 and 9 a.m. We do our opening circle at 9 a.m. and then we get right into our first activity. So maybe that was hiking or arts and crafts or field sports or group games. At 10:30, we eat a snack because we're hungry. And then at 11, or when we're done for a snack, we jump into our second activity. So maybe we're going to be doing tie-dye or drama and working on our skits, bike riding. Then we eat lunch and have free play, which is all very fun, followed by our third activity. And so maybe we bring out the water play stuff or make ice cream or do STEM. Then at 2:30, we do capers and closing circles. So once again, capers are those camp chores. So we have the girls help a little bit around camp because it's their camp too. So sometimes they help pick up the toys or make sure there's not garbage on the ground. At 3 o'clock, we have closing circle, and the girls who are enrolled in aftercare then move into their aftercare activities, which could be more group games, or maybe it's a Friday and we're watching a movie. Maybe they're making a special craft or special treat. Maybe they're doing some outdoor cooking. So Camp Echo, a lot crammed into a day. It's so much fun. We send home very happy, tired kids and a lot of arts and crafts projects and a lot of good memories. For resident camp, our day is a little bit longer. So we wake up at 8:30. We have breakfast or we wake up at 7:30. We don't wake up after breakfast. That's midnight madness. So normal camp, we wake up at 7:30. We have breakfast at 8. Our camp cooks always make sure that we have well-rounded meals for our girls at camp. So we make sure that we have fruits and vegetables and a hot option available at every meal, something to drink, so a juice or a milk, proteins, just well-rounded, kid-friendly meals. So spaghetti, chicken nuggets, pancakes, grilled cheese sandwiches. The kids love it. I love it. So after breakfast, we have our flag ceremony, and one of the group's capers is to put the flag up every morning. So it's a really good way for them to learn that tradition and be involved in that. Then we go into our first activity. So maybe that is kayaking or hiking or STEM. Then at 10:15, we go into our second activity. So maybe they're going on a field trip that day. Maybe that's when they go out to the horse stable, or archery, group games. So just keeping the fun going. At noon, we eat lunch. And then after lunch, we tend to be a little pooped. So we have a rest hour from 1 to 2 o'clock, where the girls are back in their cabins. They can play quiet games, do cards, make friendship bracelets, hang out with their counselors, take a nap. But on the first day, no one wants to take a nap. On the last day, still no one wants to take a nap, but a couple people take naps. Sometimes our teenagers do. And then at 2 p.m., we go into our third activity. So maybe we're back at the lake for stand-up paddle boards or swimming, doing arts and crafts. And then our fourth activity of the day, so at 3:30, maybe we are going climbing or doing a low ropes course, outdoor cooking, dinner at 5, evening program at 6. So that could be an all group campfire or a night hike. I keep wanting to play capture the flag. Maybe we'll get it this summer. And then at 7:30, either showers or going back to their unit and doing their own campfire. Girls shower about every other day at Camp Pittenger. So not everyday showers, but about every other day. We try to shower on the same days that after we do swimming, so to wash all of our lake muck off of ourselves. And then bedtime is between 9 and 10 p.m. depending on age. So moving on to our next thing, Gizmo is going to explain some fun camp lingo, because sometimes it feels like in Girl Scouts and in camp we're speaking our own language. So we wanted to demystify some of this lingo that we're using, and some of this language that your kids are going to come home with, and you're going to go, what are you saying?
So when your camper comes home and they're like, so Gizmo was singing this really funny song about a chicken, or Noodle was doing this really funny dance, they're not hanging out with a pasta noodle or Gizmo from the Gremlins. They're hanging out with their camp staff. We all have camp names. So the camp counselors and all of the adult staff at camp have one. And this is a tradition that is across the board at all Girl Scout camps across the country. And one of the favorite things that girls love doing is guessing our real names. I can't even tell you how many times in a week girls will come up to me and they're like, I know your real name. It's Ashley. And I'm like, not quite, but good guess. And then at the end of the week at our closing campfire, we do a name song. So at the beginning of the week, we do a name song with our camp names. And then at the end of the week, we do the same camp song, but with our real names. And I love seeing the girls that are there with their notebooks, and they're like, okay, Gizmo is Taylor, and Noodle is Olive, and Bubbles is Amy. Shoot, no, I think that's wrong. It's hilarious to watch. Biffy is a bathroom enforced for you. So those are at CAP, those are our porta potties that we have in the unit. And then at TAM, they have flushing toilets in most of the units. I think all of the units, yeah. And then Campfire is one of our opening/closing ceremonies. And depending on location and fire danger and sometimes weather, they may or may not include an actual fire, but we do still come together and sing songs and do skits and all of that fun stuff. And like I had mentioned earlier, we have capers, which are camp chores. So that's raising the flag and taking it down, cleaning the shower house, picking up sticks in your unit for fires, putting the plates and cups and silverware and everything out for mealtime. So everybody takes their part in taking care of camp and making sure that things are running smoothly. And then if you hear campers say buddy line, this is a line that girls will get into to be counted before moving from place to place. We don't make them walk in that line. They typically end up in a buddy blob or just a giant group of children. But it's easy for our staff to say, hey ladies, can I see a buddy line, please? And then they, get in a line or they get in two lines standing with their buddy. And then there's occasionally that truddy if you have an odd number. And then they can say, okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, great, we have all 8 girls. And then they start walking, and all of a sudden, your back buddy is all the way at the front and everybody's switching spots.
So next we have some highlights on health and safety. Of course, we want our girls to have fun at camp. Everyone wants to have fun at camp, but we can't have fun at camp if we're not safe and we're not healthy. So we do have some highlights on this. So our COVID-19, we have COVID-19 policies and procedures in place to keep everyone healthy at camp. I love to say that the past 2 summers we've ran Camp Echo, and then we ran all 3 of our camps last summer, and we have had 0 cases of COVID at our camps. So we've had a lot of really good luck when it comes to keeping COVID out of our camps. We have screening when arriving to camp. So as people are coming into camp, we're screening for illness, not only for COVID, but also for all illness. If you're sick, you're not going to be enjoying camp. We at resident camp, we do temperature checks at every meal. And just once again, making sure everyone's feeling good. That's one time that everyone's all together, so we could just keep an eye on all of our campers. Another big thing is we give full refunds or transfer sessions if people are sick and unable to attend camp. So if someone's not feeling well, no matter what it is, we do give a full refund for illness or transfer sessions to keep illness out of our camp. And then last summer, our mask policy was we had campers wearing masks when they were indoors and when interacting with other groups. And staff were always wearing masks. We don't know what our mask policy looks like quite yet for this summer, but we assume that it's going to be pretty similar, that there's going to be wearing masks in some capacity, probably not all the time. We definitely don't wear masks when swimming or sleeping or eating or drinking, but there will be some mask wearing this summer, most likely. Other highlights on health and safety is at resident camp. We have a health center, which is fully stocked with qualified health staff. So we love to have an RN on site or a CNA, people with high level health certifications, wilderness first responders who can help our campers if they were to become ill or have an injury while at camp, or just need a little more TLC or a quiet place to lay down for a little bit. At day camp, we don't have a full health center because it is just a day experience, and parents are much more easily accessible if something was to happen. We are also across the street from a fire department, and I could, if I was good at throwing a baseball, I could throw a baseball at St. Luke's. I'm not good at throwing a baseball. My arm's not that great, but like we are really, really close to downtown St. Luke's as well. However, all of our staff at all of our camps are first aid and CPR certified, and we have certified lifeguards at all of our waterfront activities. Our kitchen staff are also trained to accommodate food allergies and dietary restrictions. So if you have a camper with food allergies or dietary restrictions, we got them covered. And if something was to happen at camp, or if something was to happen at home, we provide you with a phone number that you can call when you register for camp to get it in contact with the camp director and speak with the camp director. And vice versa, if something was to happen at camp, we would call you from the same phone number. So we recommend that when you get your family packet and there's a phone number and there's like 208 number, you put that in as like Camp Alice Pittenger camp director, or Camp Alice Pittenger camp, or Camp Echo camp, or Camp Tam camp. So when you get that phone call, if you get that phone call, we don't call most families, but if you happen to get that phone call, you know that we're calling you to speak with you about your camper. And then you could also call that number if something was to happen at home. And you're like, okay, we need to get a hold of the camp director right now. And someone always has that phone on them 24 hours a day. We would prefer if you don't call at 2 a.m, but we understand if you have to. And then another thing that we're very proud of is that Camp Echo and Camp Alice Pittenger are both American Camp Association accredited camps, which means we have met over 200 standards that hold our camps to the highest health and safety standards, as well as making sure that our camps are just fun, just a lot of good time for girls. So lastly, some registration tips for success. I know that you all have been watching this because you want to sign your girls up for camp. So some tips for success. Make sure that before February 1st, you've looked at your camp schedule and you have your favorite sessions and dates decided. We anticipate that some of our camps will probably sell out within the first week, maybe within the first day. So making sure that if you know that like you are going to Wild Water Week at Camp Echo and Saddle Up at CAP and Cadet Adventure at TAM, those are your camps, that you make sure that you know those so that you can sign up right away. Make sure that you can log into your MyGS account so you know the password and the login. Sometimes if you haven't logged in for a long time, you might have forgotten the password, and that's really frustrating when you're like ready to sign up for camp and you're like, so which number did I put at the end of my standard password? What password is this? So make sure that you have logged into that. We have a quick go-to video on how to register girls in your household for camp. So We suggest watching that video. It's on our website. Bookmarking our event registration FAQs and troubleshooting website as well. So if you run into any issues, being able to pop on our website and figure that out through us. And then most importantly, getting excited and ready for summer camp and getting your girls excited and ready for summer camp, because we are so excited and happy to have them. And we can't wait to have another super successful and some fun summer this year at camp. All 3 of our camps. So that is the end of our presentation. What questions do people have about camp this summer?
I don't have any more questions, but I wanted to tell you guys thank you. This was very helpful. It answered the few questions that we had, and Shelby was impressed with what you said we're having for food. She was worried about that. She took off and said that'll be fine, you know. So thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. We are glad this is really helpful. And tell Shelby we're really excited to see her at camp this summer. Okay,
Thanks,
Taylor, I
Kristen.
think
We'll get out that brochure as well.
and Taylor, I think we can stop recording now.